So why did he need a black director? Could a white director not have
It's not
produced this
color,
work?
it's culture.
There's been a lot of controversy surrounding the usage of the N-word in this movie, and
No, nobody, none. Have you ever said it?
no, sir,
Try it.
I don't like to say.
Try it.
Black History Month you find
Ridiculous.
why?
You're gonna relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours?
In recent times, numerous well-known actors have resisted what they perceive as the overreach of woke culture in Hollywood. These conflicts have ignited a broader discussion regarding freedom of expression and the influence of media in forming public dialogue. In Hollywood, woke culture has evolved into a phrase that represents increased consciousness and support for social justice matters, including political correctness, inclusivity, and efforts to empower marginalized groups.
Who you wound up supporting in the election? Presidential election.
None of your business.
None of my business?
None of your business.
Well, I'm only asking because the story was online, but that's okay.
Originally based in the struggle for diversity, equality, and representation, woke culture aimed to highlight the important issues facing groups that had been historically neglected or marginalized. This transition sought to establish a sector where narratives from diverse backgrounds could be shared, and marginalized voices could be amplified. Although these goals are praiseworthy, woke culture has faced criticism for being a double-edged sword. On one hand, it has created opportunities for increased diversity among front-of-house talent, as well as behind-the-scenes creators, resulting in a wider range of stories and experiences portrayed on screen.
If me in politics is to give you a direct statement right there is playing a game that I'm not interested in playing. To give you a direct statement right there.
Nevertheless, this same drive for inclusivity has faced criticism for fostering an environment of fear, where numerous individuals in the industry feel compelled to conform to specific social or political perspectives. This pressure is not only internal, it has turned into a public spectacle, with studios, producers, and actors facing scrutiny over their personal beliefs and behaviors. What started as an initiative to advocate for equity and representation has, for some, transformed into a setting where straying from established norms may result in cancel culture, boycotts, and public humiliation. Hollywood, previously recognized as a stronghold of creative liberty and artistic innovation, now faces a complicated environment where political beliefs frequently appear to take precedence over the artistic authenticity of a project. For numerous actors, the growing impact of woke culture has started to suppress creativity and genuine conversation. Individuals in the entertainment field have expressed concerns regarding the expectation to conform to political correctness, frequently sensing that their creative freedom is constrained by an excessive demand for social consciousness. These critics contend that the industry's move to prioritize political correctness can result in self-censorship, causing even the most basic artistic decisions to be examined for their likelihood of causing offense. The main criticism is that woke culture tends to promote a conformity of ideas that allows little space for varied viewpoints. Artists, directors, and writers are becoming more cautious about taking risks with their work, fearing negative reactions for showcasing ideas or characters that fall outside a limited narrative shaped by the existing cultural environment.
In reality, when we're dealing with things like terrorism and whatnot, we're all going to have different opinions on how to do it and how to deal with it.
Rather than creating an environment for constructive discussion and diverse perspectives, woke culture in Hollywood frequently compels people to adhere to a specific set of beliefs, resulting in the stifling of artistic expression. This has caused a schism in the industry, with numerous actors and creatives in conflict with the very framework they previously flourished within. Individuals who venture beyond the established boundaries may encounter possible career consequences, rendering the issue of free expression in Hollywood more intricate than it has ever been. During an appearance on The View to discuss his children's book, Matthew McConaughey was unexpectedly drawn into a political discussion. Joy Behar, a host of the show, promptly directed the conversation to gun control, a matter that had been a controversial subject in the media. Although McConaughey's book was unrelated to politics, Behar appeared set on dragging him into the political arena, expecting him to side with the liberal view on gun rights.
Do you think you could get elected in Texas being anti-gun?
Do I think I could get elected in Texas being anti-gun? If me in politics is to give you a direct statement right there is playing a game that I'm not interested in playing. To give you a direct statement right there.
As Behar probed him regarding his opinions on gun control, McConaughey kept a composed and calm demeanor. Instead of yielding to the interviewer's effort to leverage his position for political discussion, McConaughey responded calmly, yet assertively, "I'm not going to take the bait." His decision to avoid the politically sensitive issue not only eased the tension, but also conveyed a message regarding the limits between an actor's professional duties and their personal convictions. McConaughey's reply exemplified his integrity and dedication to distinguishing his personal beliefs from the political agendas of the media. He openly recognized his Texan heritage and his individual conviction in the right to possess firearms, irrespective of the political atmosphere. However, what was even more important was how McConaughey steered the discussion back to his book, emphasizing the significance of the work he was present to talk about. By doing this, he emphasized that his individual beliefs must not be used to further a larger political agenda. By choosing not to engage in a political discussion, McConaughey emphasized his ability to shape the story, showing how celebrities can concentrate on the craft that led them to fame instead of being trapped by media-driven narratives.
Political offices in your future, can you see that?
If it's where I would deem myself to be most useful,
Yeah.
yes.
Kurt Russell, a seasoned actor recognized for his candid demeanor and advocacy for personal freedom, was taken by surprise during an interview when the conversation shifted to political topics. He had often supported the idea of keeping politics separate from Hollywood and his profession, but this specific interview turned into a challenge to his dedication to that position. In the interview, Russell was questioned regarding his political beliefs, a topic he believed was irrelevant to the film he was endorsing. With a straightforward approach, he halted the interviewer's inquiry, firmly asserting, "I'm here to discuss my film, not my political views." His statements were straightforward, confident, and allowed no opportunity for additional political inquiry.
The last thing I like to watch is entertainers or actors get political. It's just something I can't stand watching. So having said that,
Russell's reaction wasn't merely to dodge an awkward subject. It was about preserving the line between his personal and professional existence. He emphasized that his function as an entertainer was not to act as a spokesperson for political beliefs. His position served as a reminder that the entertainment sector, although frequently politically engaged, should not require artists to conform to set political categories. Russell's statements effectively halted any additional political conversation, emphasizing that an actor's public image should not be confused with political engagement. By upholding this distinct boundary, Russell safeguarded his own integrity while also establishing a standard for other entertainers in Hollywood who might be experiencing the pressure to align with political norms.
Recently, you made some headlines for saying that you felt gun control laws wouldn't deter terrorists. Explain to folks.
well, you know, these are these things where, first of all, I was in a situation, we do what we call the dog and pony.
Right.
We're out doing the dog and pony selling a picture, and you get kind of what you feel is slightly ambushed by somebody who's really got an agenda, and that's sort of, I think, that's my opinion of what happened to me the other day.
Denzel Washington, a highly regarded actor in Hollywood, engaged in an insightful dialogue with a journalist during an interview concerning his collaboration with a black director. The journalist appeared to suggest that Washington's choice to work with the director was influenced by race, presenting an intriguing, albeit somewhat limited, view of the artist's creative decisions. Instead of being offended or merely agreeing with the assumption, Washington offered a thought-provoking critique. He emphasized that the decision to collaborate with a director must never be considered solely from the perspective of race. He clarified, "It isn't about ethnicity. It pertains to culture."
So why did he need a black director? Could a white director not have
It's not
produced this
color,
work?
it's culture.
In a few straightforward terms, Washington challenged the notion that an artist's choices must be restricted by their racial identity, emphasizing instead the larger idea of cultural collaboration and common values. Washington's response encompassed more than simply defending his personal decisions. It served as a wider commentary on societal perceptions of creative collaboration. By highlighting that culture goes beyond race, Washington reminded all that creativity stems from collective human experiences, rather than being solely influenced by an individual's racial heritage. His position advocated for more nuanced views in discussions regarding race and culture, encouraging individuals to move past superficial identities and to recognize the deeper, universal elements that inspire artistic expression.
Right now, under President Obama, over the last 8 years, in your mind, have race relations improved under his leadership?
Race relationships have to do with race relationships.
Washington's remarks were not merely a challenge to oversimplified narratives, but also a call for a more nuanced, comprehensive appreciation of artists' roles in society. Samuel L. Jackson, recognized for his candid style in interviews, was questioned about the utilization of the N-word in Django Unchained. The inquiry, apparently crafted to incite a reaction, was requesting his opinion on the debate over a term that holds both cultural importance and racial implications. Jackson, always unafraid of difficult subjects, replied in a manner that provided the interviewer with minimal leverage. In a clear and straightforward reply, Jackson dared the reporter to utter the N-word themselves, questioning, "Do you want to say it? It's your words."
There's been a lot of controversy surrounding the usage of the N-word in this movie, and
No, nobody, none. Has he ever said it?
No, sir.
Try it.
I don't like to say
Try it.
Really? Seriously?
We're not gonna have this conversation unless you say it.
The interviewer, evidently unready for this situation, had to face the ridiculousness of simplifying such a multifaceted topic into one provocative query. Jackson's action was not merely an act of rebellion, but a significant declaration regarding the necessity for a more profound comprehension of racial language and its importance. Jackson's reply acted as a strong criticism of the media's habit of simplifying intricate racial matters for the purpose of catchy quotes. He emphasized that discussions regarding race, particularly concerning media, require a degree of sensitivity and comprehension that is frequently absent in conventional journalism. By questioning the reporter's approach, Jackson highlighted that matters of race shouldn't be simplified to mere shock or sensationalism. They demand careful thought and respect for their historical background. When Morgan Freeman was questioned about Black History Month, a query that usually presumes acceptance of the idea of separate historical acknowledgement, Freeman provided a viewpoint that was both surprising and thought-provoking. His criticism focused not on the month itself, but on the idea of confining the acknowledgement of Black history to just one specific time frame annually.
Black History Month, you find
Ridiculous.
why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours?
Freeman, in his characteristic calm and confident manner, replied by asking why Black history should be limited to only 1 month. He remarked, "Why must we honor Black history for just 1 month?" The inquiry was straightforward yet deep, questioning the assumption that history, especially the roles of Black people, ought to be limited to a certain period. Freeman's challenge was not aimed at undermining the celebration of Black history. Instead, it was a plea for a more unified perspective on comprehending history in its entirety. He posed a rhetorical question about the absence of a White History Month, emphasizing the irrationality of segregating history by race. Freeman emphasized that history, being a collective human experience, ought to be perceived as an ongoing narrative rather than divided by racial divisions. His criticism sparked a broader discussion on how society ought to interact with history in a more inclusive and integrated way. Numerous confrontations mentioned earlier stemmed from reporters employing ambush tactics, intending to elicit emotional reactions from those they interviewed. These journalists frequently look for provocative sound bites or attempt to pressure an actor into expressing a political viewpoint, irrespective of the interview context. Another frequent strategy employed by media organizations is agenda-driven journalism. In several instances, journalists often aim not to foster genuine dialogue, but to promote a particular narrative or portray the interviewee negatively. This method frequently misrepresents the facts and prevents a fair examination of the relevant topics. The emergence of woke culture in Hollywood has sparked worries regarding its effect on freedom of expression. Numerous actors who have opposed woke journalists have done so to uphold their right to express themselves openly without the threat of censorship or backlash. As prominent public figures, celebrities possess a distinctive platform to shape public conversation. When celebrities such as McConaughey, Russell, and Freeman oppose woke culture, their stance can influence public perception and confront the existing norms. These encounters also prompt audiences to reflect critically on the media they engage with and the stories they are presented with.
Who you wound up supporting in the election, presidential election?
None of your business.
None of my business?
None of your business.
Well, I'm only asking because the story was online, but that's okay.
In summary, the efforts of these notable figures in opposing woke culture hold importance not just for Hollywood, but also for the broader public conversation. by challenging journalists and declining to be swayed into talking about subjects unrelated to their craft, they convey a message regarding the significance of transparent, truthful conversation in entertainment and other fields. As we progress, it is essential for audiences to thoughtfully engage with media stories and endorse varied viewpoints that enable creative liberty and genuine expression. What's your opinion? Are these performers advocating for free speech, or are they merely pushing back against essential changes in Hollywood? Share your thoughts in the comments section, and remember to like, share, and subscribe for additional insights into the intricate realm of Hollywood.